Hello, welcome. So today we're going to be taking a look at r/Am I the Devil, which is pretty apt, because right now I feel like I'm in the fiery pits of hell. If you want to judge some big old gaping confirmed boreholes with me today, then please do stick around and enjoy. And if you hear the sound of a fan in the background, mind your business, I'm boiling, all right? Okay, quick disclaimer, any opinions that I give on the post we read today are just opinions, not facts, do not need to be taken as such. If you have a different opinion, that is perfectly fine, do feel free to leave it in the comments below, just make sure you're keeping it respectful with everyone. There is no need to have arguments with people just because you do not agree. With that being said, let's get into it then, shall we? So this first one was reposted by Frankenstein's Kid, and they say, his sleeve brushed against my arm with heart eyes. So this was originally posted in Am I the Boarthole Relationships? Am I the Boarthole for planning to confess my feelings to my married manager? Yep. Without even reading, yep. Oh my goodness. Okay, buckle up everybody, we're going in. I, 27F, feel like I'm losing my mind. My best friend just called me delusional and threatened to distance herself from me if I go through with this, so I need an outside perspective. For my own personal sanity, all names have been changed. How very kind of you. For the past year, I've worked closely with David, 38M. He is the assistant manager at the retail pharmacy where I work as a pharmacy technician. He is married to Sarah, and they have 2 toddlers. Okay, OP, back the f*** up, you homewrecker. Do not go. Do not pass go. Straight to jail instead. Go on, off you go. In your orange jumpsuit, crack on. His locker is covered in drawings from his kids, and he talks about his family constantly. On paper, he's the ultimate family man. But over the last 6 months, I feel like our relationship has changed. It started in November when my dog passed away. He noticed I was crying in the break room, went down the street and bought me a vanilla latte and a muffin. He sat with me for 10 minutes and just listened to me vent. No one else at work even noticed I was upset, but he did, so he was doing his job as a manager of looking after the welfare of his staff. Got it. Since then, we've developed a routine. Whenever we pass each other by the stockroom, he gives me this specific, warm smile. A few weeks ago, during a hectic Monday rush, I made a joke to a difficult customer that fell flat, but I looked across the pharmacy counter and David was smiling and shaking his head. It felt like an inside joke between us. Then there was team dinner last month at a packed, deafening restaurant. Because it was crowded, David sat directly across from me. At one point, the room got incredibly loud. David leaned all the way across the table to hear what I was saying. As does happen in a packed and loud room, yes, OP. I'm not seeing this connection just yet, my love. I'm gonna be honest. While I was talking, he looked directly at my lips, reading your lips again because it's a packed and busy restaurant with lots of noise. Get it together, woman. Smiled and nodded along. A few of our co-workers at the end of the table actually stopped talking and just stared at us because it looked so intense. It felt like the rest of the room completely melted away. The biggest thing happened last Friday. We were staying late to finish checking in an inventory shipment. The store was closed. He walked over to check my progress, and as he leaned over my shoulder to look at the terminal, his sleeve brushed against my arm. Oh, goodness me, OP, clutching us pearls we are, love. He didn't pull away immediately. He stayed there for at least 3 seconds because he was reading the terminal you were holding. Oh my, am I going insane? I don't read any of this as like a thing. Am I actually going insane? Before he clocked out, he looked at me and said, "Don't stay too late, Shelby. We need you around here." I felt a physical spark. I am convinced that he is trapped in a passionless marriage and his kindness is his subconscious way of crying out for a connection. He always remembers exactly how I take my coffee. Men don't pay that much attention to a woman unless they are deeply attracted to her. My plan is to ask him to grab drinks after our shift this Thursday and gently lay my cards on the table. I want to tell him that I know he feels the connection too and that I'm willing to wait for him. My best friend snapped at me saying, "Shelby, he is a nice guy. He bought you coffee once. You are being delusional and you're about to ruin your job based on a sleeve brushing against your arm." Yes, listen to your friend, my love. Am I misreading this, or am I the butthole if I say how I feel? Yeah, no, do not pass go. Do not collect 200 quid. Stop it. You're going to lose your job, you're going to make a tit of yourself, and you are also trying to ruin a marriage. You know he's married, so you're also a terrible person. Despite the fact of being completely delusional about someone just being a attentive manager doing their job well. And, you know, I get that that's quite unusual, to be fair, but you know, managers don't seem to like to actually look after their staff in a lot of places, but you know, you do get some good ones. And the fact that he talks constantly in a loving way about his family should be the biggest hint to not continue along this train of thought. My goodness. So, down in the comments, the person who reposted this says she posted the same thing in a different sub and she got a unanimous 60 plus "you're the buttholes" within a few minutes. Guess she didn't like that no one is supportive of her delusion. Yeah, I find this a lot with especially posts that are reposted into Am I the Devil. The people will tend to like kind of litter the same post around a lot of places hoping for a different outcome, and they do not like it when everyone's like, no, you're really bad, stop that. So then Sofia Mukamadova, I think. I'm sorry. No, she seems like such a rational and well-adjusted person. How could she possibly have transferred her own lack of affection onto an innocent man and decided he must be short on affection at home? If she goes through with this idiotic plan, then one of them is going to need to go on the market for a new job, and I have a feeling it's going to be her. Okay, then next post reposted by Fancy and Fab. Why being a housewife is so dangerous. So this one was reposted from r/AmITheBorthole. Am I the Borthole for not wanting my wife to spend a week at our cabin? My wife has been staying with her sister for the past 2 weeks. Her sister is a single mum to a 4-year-old with brain cancer. Oh my goodness, that sounds awful. My sister-in-law was feeling burnt out, so my wife decided to extend her trip indefinitely to help take care of her niece. This happened on Saturday. Her niece will be spending the next 2 weeks in hospital. My wife is planning to stay in the hospital with her niece, then she wants to take her to our cabin for a week so she can play in the snow, then she'll be spending Christmas with her sister. She's a housewife, so it's not like she has a job to get back to, but I would like to see her at some point this month, and this house can't run the same without her. She just told me about this plan to take her niece to the cabin. I told her that I want her to come back sooner than later and I don't want her to go to the cabin. She says I'm welcome to come with her, but she wants to spend this time with her niece. I mean, yeah, if she's got brain cancer, there can be some really aggressive forms of brain cancer that children get. And it's not a question of if they pass from it, it is a question of when, really unfortunately. So I completely understand the wife wanting to spend time with her. I think the only thing that would sway me on either way is, does the OP and his wife have kids? Does the OP and their wife have kids? Because then if obviously OP's wife is the person who stays home and OP goes to work, they have kids, they're having to juggle that would obviously be very tricky then for the OP to juggle all of that out of the blue with no warning, and I would get that. And I get how hard it is, but I also understand that the OP just wants to help their sister, and maybe what for all we know could be the last few months or weeks of their niece's life. and their sister's time with their niece as easy as possible. I told her she's going to come home within the next week or so, and she snapped that I'm not her boss and that she will be taking niece to see the snow and then she will be spending Christmas with her. Now we're not speaking, so I wanted to know if I was the butthole. Yeah, you can't really tell someone who is a fully grown adult what they can do. But yeah, I can literally see a comment here that says that the OP says they don't even have kids. So no. You're the butthole, OP. I understand that you want to see your wife, but my God, can you not just, like, make do with the fact that you're just gonna have 1 month where you don't see them much because their niece literally has an illness that could end them, the poor little thing, and that she's wanting to help her sister and spend time with her niece? Like, not everything's about you, OP. Like, what? Can you not, like, do the dishes yourself? Like, can you not order a takeaway if you don't know how to cook? Like, grow up. So, down in the comments, Scarbilly Betty, like I say, says in the comments, OOP says they don't even have kids. So, the house doesn't run without her 100% means I want her home to cook, clean, and be my bank maid. Basically, yes. Basically. Like, any well-adjusted adult would be like, I understand, love. I'm gutted I don't get to see you very much this month, but I understand that this is more important for, you know, we've got all the time in the world. You may have limited time with your niece. Please do go ahead and spend it however you feel you need to. And then Hello Hangnail says, I'm sad that I have to do my own laundry. And then Milky Twill says, the mental image of a grown man staring sadly at an overflowing laundry basket while his wife is helping a child with cancer is somehow both hilarious and depressing. It really is, it really is. And I mean, also saying, I told her she is coming home. Like, she's her own person. Just because she is a housewife doesn't mean you own her. Like, sorry, my love, you're not my real dad. I will not be doing that. So the next one was posted by Arcticos02. The traumatic event is that the boyfriend died. So this one was reposted in r/AmITheButthole. Am I the butthole for snapping at my half-sister when she called to say that neither her nor my other sister will be attending my wedding after they both RSVP'd yes? Throwaway, names changed, standard. I, F23, have 2 half-sisters, Molly, F29, and Mary, F33, from my dad's previous marriage. I wasn't close to either of them growing up because they mainly stayed with their mum, and we just generally weren't close. We're all nice to one another, but it's not buddy-buddy. I got married a few weeks ago and both Molly and Mary were invited. They both RSVP'd yes. Literally a couple days before the wedding, Mary calls and says neither her nor Molly will be attending. I'm shocked because obviously all the catering, everything's been put in, and now 4 people won't be attending. They each had a +1. Mary did sound apologetic and she explained to me, detailing a traumatic situation Molly's going through, and she will also not be attending and staying with Molly and their mum instead. I got upset and said that I understand, but if she can just attend for a little while to support me, she can leave early if she wishes. Mary kept saying it's not possible, so I snapped and said how neither of them care about my feelings and the effort put into this wedding, especially since Molly herself didn't bother calling me to let me know, and it's obvious that I was always the outsider sister and not part of their group. Mary said I was being selfish and hung up the phone. I did tell some relatives the situation who knew about it and got mixed reactions for going off at Mary. So, am I the butthole for snapping because they didn't come to my wedding? So obviously, yeah, we know the boyfriend died. So yeah, I understand why Molly and Mary wouldn't want to come. Obviously, it seems like Molly and Mary have quite a close relationship, and maybe Molly feels like, you know, Mary is the only person that can really comfort them all that much right now. I understand being gutted that your sister can't come, but at the end of the day, their boyfriend died. Like, full on died, my love. If they can't come and they don't feel like they can attend, would you not rather that they do what is best for them at the moment, rather than come in and, you know, moping the whole day and feeling really sad the whole day? I know I would. At the end of the day, if all I can do is put myself in the shoes of the person getting married, and if it was me and a sibling's partner had died and they said, look, I can't come, and neither is other sibling because they're gonna be here supporting me because I'm really struggling, blah blah blah, I'd be like, yeah, that's sound, mate. Do what you need to do. You know, yeah, I'm gutted you can't come. It would have been lovely to have you here, but I understand that you need to do what's best for you right now in your health, your like mental health and mental well-being. And also the fact that obviously, you know, yeah, so what? You've got 4 extra dishes. I guarantee you that food won't go to waste. Someone's going to want to eat it. Like, someone's going to want extras. Usually that someone is me. So, down in the comments, Cantor Circles quotes the OP and says, I'm shocked because obviously all the catering, everything's been put in, and now 4 people won't be attending. They each had a +1. I'm pretty sure the dead guy showing up to your wedding would be a bigger problem than having 4 too many meals. Oh my god. That is terrible, and I should not laugh. And then Eng Girl says, this is the best comment. You're being unfair here. You already had a couple weeks notice that the dead boyfriend wouldn't be coming, so really, you only got late notice on 3 people. That's terrible. And you would be surprised how many comments follow that same vein. Sometimes the internet cannot be serious, but no, yeah, the OP needs to think further outside of themselves. Yes, it's their day. Yes, they're allowed to be gutted. No, they're not allowed to be an asshole about it. Someone flipping died. Okay then, so this last one was reshared by Mean League 384. Mofo said father-in-law didn't die. Oh goodness. So this one was posted in r/am I wrong? Am I the butthole for expecting my wife to trust me again after one bad decision? Now it really depends on what that bad decision was, doesn't it? I've been with my wife for 7 years. 3 years ago, my mother-in-law called us crying, saying father-in-law had a heart attack. We thought he was dying. My wife, who was 3 months pregnant at the time, immediately jumped on the first flight back home to Sweden. She didn't ask how I felt or if I was okay. Oh no. Like, yeah, I get if you're close to them, you might be a bit gutted, but it's her dad, mate. She just broke down and said that she had to go, packed to carry on, and left. While she was there, I asked her when she'd be back. She said she didn't know because even though her dad was recovering, her mum needed help. At first, we texted all the time, but then she started ignoring my calls, saying she was too tired. I started feeling resentful. I admit I made a bad decision. I started chatting with my ex, ended up inviting her over, and we had a great night together. Wow. Oh my goodness. Like, that's not a bad decision. That is a despicable decision. Your wife is 3 months pregnant looking after her father that she thought may have died and could have died. And this is what you do because you're feeling sad that she's not replying quick enough. My goodness. Oh my goodness. By morning, I regretted it and told her to leave. When my wife came back 4 months later, I came clean. She was shocked and gave me the cold shoulder for a week. Yeah, I can imagine. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand 4 months of someone being away when you're in a relationship is really hard going. Why does that keep making noise? I wish my phone wouldn't keep going off. I hate it. Yeah, like I say, I understand that that is going to be hard going. 4 months, and when she's not replying quick enough, but in her defense, she's looking after her poorly dad, who I imagine is very unwell, and helping her mum. And she's pregnant as well, and I get that's going to be really hard. So I'm not going to gloss over that and say, oh no, OP's, you know, terrible for feeling, you know, sad or whatever that their wife isn't there. Because, you know, it's going to feel like missing out on a lot of the pregnancy stuff as well. But, does that mean that it's okay to go and jump in bed with your ex? No, because this wasn't just like an accidental, oops, it was just one night thing and we were drunk and bumped into each other and it happened, which is also despicable, by the way. But they literally made the decision to start chatting with their ex. So this was This was like over a few days, I imagine. Ended up inviting her over, and we had a great night together. I believe the courts would call that premeditated. So yeah, terrible. I apologised, said it was a one-time mistake, and begged for forgiveness. She eventually said she'd give me one last chance. She made me block my ex, which I already had, and set some pretty strict rules. No going out with friends she doesn't know, stuff like that. I agreed. She gave birth, and then things have been okay since. She eventually let me back into our bedroom. Now, here's the problem. My buddy is getting married and all the groomsmen are planning a Vegas bachelor party. My wife has straight up forbidden me from going, says she doesn't trust me and thinks I'll make another bad decision. I told her she forgave me, so she needs to trust me again, but she's refusing. Am I the butthole wrong for expecting my wife to trust me again, especially since I've been sticking to all her conditions so far? I do think when you are in a relationship and someone cheats and you decide to stay with them, there is a certain amount of you that has to understand that you can't then be constantly trying to tell that person, you're not allowed to go here, you're not allowed to do that, you're not allowed to have a life, basically, because I don't trust you anymore. It's like, okay, at that point, then you should probably just break up because that's not healthy either way. I get why it happens, 100% I get why it happens, but it's not healthy. So you should just probably break up. But I don't feel bad for this OP at all. One bit. Not one bit. Like, what? So they did post an update, by the way, which caused quite the scandal. People were basically saying from this update, so from what I can gather from the comments, the general consensus is divided on whether they think that this proves that the whole post was fake to begin with, or some people are saying that the OP didn't get the reaction that they want, which is basically they wanted people to agree with them that the wife's being unreasonable. And then they've posted this as kind of like a no, everything is right, I'm right kind of thing, to kind of prove everyone wrong, which is more on the side of what I'm believing, which, wow. Because obviously we see people do this a lot where they'll make shit up in their update to try and make themselves sound better, or like they're not in the wrong. But anyway, I'll read the update and you can decide for yourself what you think on that one. So, final update. Am I the butthole for expecting my wife to trust me after a one-time mistake years ago? So, I came here hoping for some unbiased advice, but it seems like everyone just loves to make me the bad guy over one mistake. A mistake is like putting the remote in the fridge because you're half asleep, texting and flirting with an ex, then inviting them over, then taking them to Pound Town is not a mistake. That is a calculated choice. Like, that's not a mistake. You're a dick. Here's the deal. Last night I told my wife before bed that I'd tell my buddy I can't join the Vegas trip with the guys. I said I'd use work as an excuse, and she thanked me for it. Then I told her how I feel I'm walking on eggshells around her, that it's frustrating complying with all her rules only for her to still not trust me. I told her I feel rejected and unloved. I mean, the last time we were intimate was years ago when she got pregnant. I know I messed up, but she was rejecting me long before the trip. And I felt alone and vulnerable. I made a bad decision, but I've been paying for it ever since. She went quiet, then out of nowhere started giving me oral pleasurals. I was like, whoa, what's going on? But she just kept going. Honestly, it was the most unexpected and weirdest thing ever. But then she got up, spat in the sink, brushed her teeth and came back to bed. I tried to kiss her and asked if I could return the favour and she just said, no, I'm tired, rolled over and started reading her book. And that's where we're at. Oral pleasurals once in a blue moon and I'm expected to shut up and follow her rules. Back to marriage jail, I guess. Bye. 20 quid says that never happened. Seriously, OP, are we expected to believe that? Okay, so from reading that, I fully believe that the original one was real, and then that one was it was completely embellished to try and make themselves sound like they're not the bad one. But yeah. And then below that, because someone had reposted that update in the comments, because for some reason the link to the update was not working, like the link was funky, it wouldn't work. So someone had reposted that update in the comments, and someone commented below that, Babzarella WT just says, what the actual fuck? What the actual fuck indeed. So like I say, people were sort of discussing whether they think that the whole things were fake and made up, or if it was like the first one was real and the second one was made up to try and make them look better. I am on the latter personally. I would love to hear what you reckon on that one. Okay then, so I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. If you made it all the way to the end with me, then I appreciate you very, very much. If you give a little like, subscribe, notifications on, maybe do a rain dance for me because, oh my goodness, I am absolutely boiling. That will be your initiation into the Covenant of Void. Welcome. Whatever it is you're doing for the day, I hope you have a really good rest of the day. Don't forget to leave an offering with a comment for Big Al. Bye!